Hi everyone and welcome to this video. In this video, I'll give you a very brief opinion why studying psychoanalysis and especially Jungian psychoanalysis is key to sort of developing a, let's say, a healthy relationship to reality. And this reality includes obviously yourself. Now, this video, of course, I don't want to preach. No one has to study psychoanalysis. Ultimately, you have to know yourself what you want to study. But psychoanalysis does offer us a few unique perspectives. In concrete, there are two unique perspectives I think that, or let's say three unique perspectives that I think psychoanalysis offers us. First, the study of the personal unconscious. Now, the personal unconscious, as I've highlighted in other videos, is a structure that is sort of formed in our own interaction with reality. So essentially, the personal unconscious is not there at birth, but it emerges in certain very early stages of interacting with our parents and then continues to develop over our lifespan, essentially. The personal unconscious offers us a perspective or a glimpse into the kinds of forces that pull our ego, so the kinds of forces that motivate our behavior, that explain sort of the moods that we have, the moods that we don't have, and sort of therefore offers a pathway to sort of self-development that is quite unique, essentially, right? Most of psychology, and this is sort of, again, highlighting why psychoanalysis is interesting, deals with the level of the ego entirely. That is, it develops techniques or methods to sort of steer around certain issues on the level of the ego. That is, let's say you have a fear or a phobia, you simply do exposure therapy. You try to expose yourself to that which you fear. Now, the question why is never really asked. Psychoanalysis doesn't really ask the question why, it doesn't really care about the question why, but it is only through this why that you can arrive at a, let's say, solution potentially in the perspective of psychoanalysis. Now, it is also really important that for psychoanalysis, the solution isn't necessarily the death of the symptom. Now, the symptom for psychoanalysis is essentially the fundament of the existence of the subject as a whole on multiple levels. And this is especially true for Carl Jung, and this gets us into the second point, or the second reason why psychoanalysis is so interesting or so worthwhile studying. The reason for this is, in my opinion, that Jung proposes the collective level of the psyche to be something, or the collective unconscious, to be something that goes beyond the individual. So Jung really breaks open a space in which we now don't only have to focus on ourselves to learn about ourselves, but in fact, Jung proposes that there is no such thing as I or you, properly speaking, on a certain level of the psyche. Now, this level of the psyche is of course not relevant all the time, right? Like, Jung doesn't deny that there are personal traumas. He doesn't deny that there's an everyday life in which you display certain roles, calling those roles the persona. But he says that you play a role, again, in the sort of theater of humanity as a whole, that humanity has been playing all the time. And since you're born within this structure that humanity has been born within all the time, right? And this is not, necessarily a transcendental structure, but simply the sort of the kinds of behaviors that humanity has performed all the time. You are, let's say, grounded within possible responses to the structure. And Jung refers to these structuring elements, or the elements structuring these possible responses, the archetypes. Now, the archetypes for Jung are the trajectories along which your behavior can unfold. So through these archetypes, there's actually a lot you can learn about yourself and the kinds of behaviors that elicit energy in your psychic system. For Jung, the archetypes as the nuclei of the complexes are literally those aspects of the psyche that provide your movement, let's say, psychological movement, but therefore also physical movement with energy. Now, this is an incredible perspective, but there's more to Jung that is really interesting, and that is Jung proposes that because we're born into the structure, that is sort of the historical human structure, we are essentially able to find out about ourselves through the study of history. Now, the study of history for Jung doesn't mean the study of historical events, but it means the study of the history of the products of the psyche that humans have produced. Now, I've made a video on products of the psyche. Go check it out in the channel if you like it. Fairy tales are an example of that, which I've discussed in some detail. But essentially, products of the psyche for Jung are everything, right? From dreams to paintings, to mythology, to fairy tales, to pieces of fiction, to stories we tell, to theater. Those aspects all for Jung display the human struggle with reality, with the kind of reality that humans are caught in. Now, the reason why it's so fruitful to study this, in my opinion, is because through these products of the psyche, you learn about your own struggle, your own path in this eternal drama playing out in the interaction between humans, reality, and the archetypes. And especially in the face of the historical relativism that we're facing, there is a great, I think, pathway here that Jung proposes to sort of ground ourselves within the questions that matter to us as humans, let's say. Now, for all these reasons, I would say that studying psychoanalysis is fruitful not only for your own development, but also for the development of humanity or humankind as a whole. As a bonus, I would say, and this is quite prominent in Jung, that we as humans, we as participants within this drama of this eternal struggle of the psyche with the archetypes and the unknown, we participate in the shaping of this realm that Jung refers to as the unconscious. We are the history of tomorrow. We shape the products of the psyche that people will look at in 1,000 years and look at as sort of archetypal material. As for Jung, consciousness always evolves. We are essentially at the forefront of precisely this development. Now, thanks a lot for watching. If you're interested in this content, I would appreciate if you leave a comment and let me know what you think about it. And leave a like, obviously, and subscribe. And if you want, go and check out a reading list that I've created. You can find the link in the description below, where I think I've placed over 100 reading recommendations with annotations on Jung and beyond. So go and check that out. Thanks a lot.